Hello everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
Secret Sewing Club. We have obviously lovely guests here. I am going to just do a bit of housekeeping first, let everybody know what the kind of, well, not the rules, but what the crack is. So, Secret Sewing Club is kind of run by a conglomeration of us lot for the purposes of just bringing you whatever we've got that's new and exciting. So there's no one space to shop. It's not like Create and Craft Wars where you go to one place for everybody. When the guys are demonstrating, their stuff will come up. You'll get a QR code and there'll be their website as well. So if there's anything that you see that you like, head over to their website and you'll be able to grab it from there. So who have we got this week? Let's have a little look. Well, I'm going to go to Katrina first because she was, Anthea, on time. Well, she was early. And
To be fair, I was here. I just wasn't like here.
So you'll also notice we only have 3 today. That's because the big trade fair that is for kind of all of the soft craft arena, that's happening this weekend. So most of us are there. And if we're not there today, we're going to be there tomorrow. So we'll see I might do some little videos while I'm there. I might do a couple of lives while I'm there. Right. So first of all, Katrina, what have you got? Have we got anything new and exciting?
We've got lots of new things. We've got a great bundle of with 4 designs that is really good. We've got some other. I brought a new design along that's not quite finished yet, but I brought it to show everybody. It's Hazy Summer Meadow. So it's nearly done. So I brought that, but I've got lots of other things to show you. It's springtime. We've got a sign of spring. We've got tulips. We've got lots and lots of needle case design that's spring. So we've got all different kinds of projects for you. But the first one is this special bundle, Dawn to Midnight, it's called, and it's a series of 4 designs that I'd like to show everyone. So lovely. I'm going to go for that.
And Anthea.
Oh, we're all scrappy today. So we're on remnants. So we've got long raggies, we've got short ones, and we've got bundles. We've got a box full of bundles, so we can have a good rummage through there and look at.
But you've requested that Katrina goes first because you need to calm down.
Yeah,
I'm okay, but when anything goes wrong, I'm a little bit.
But you're gonna be fine for a few minutes time though.
Oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah, just time for a cup of tea and just decompress. We'll call it decompress. That's what we'll call it. So Katrina, if you are ready, I will pass it over to you.
Great.
It's working slightly different, as you can see, different background. It's working slightly, and there's a starfish. Where's the starfish? Is he still there? Oh yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
It's slightly different to how we normally do it because usually I'm at home. Today I'm remote, and then trying to do things remotely, which so far, so good, is working fine. So it might take me a little bit longer, and I, fingers crossed, have managed to put my mic into your feed again. So hopefully you can hear the questions. I'm just fingers crossed, but we'll see how we get on. We'll see how we get on. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
it's all yours.
Ready to go. Brilliant. It's nice to be here. So I've brought along a couple of designs that I really think you'd really enjoy working with. So I've got these designs here, and I'm just going to take you through those. So this is a series of 4. So this is Dawn to Dusk. So that's the first one. And then this one's what we hope is a lazy afternoon. So that's really nice to stitch. And then we've got Sunset along here. We've got each design. It's a similar design based on an outline. And then here's Midnight, the 4th design. So these are very easy designs. In the kit that you're going to get the fabric and the threads and all the beads. You're going to get the instructions. And these are really meant to be really very quick projects that you can do. So I'm just going to move those out of the way and then show you the design. So the design here is printed on the fabric. I'm just going to take out my spring hoop there, just to show you the design. So the design's printed on the fabric, very, very easy stitches. And then the colours, again, these are a mixture of shaded threads, Appleton's threads, sparkly threads, and a lot of bead thread, but very, very easy stitching. So stitches wise, we've only got a couple of straight stitches, we've got a little bit of stem stitch, and we've also got a few French knots. So the very, very minimal stitches to work with. But I always like to put the work into a spring hoop, which is really, really good. So you put the plastic part of the hoop onto the table, and then you just hold the spring and just release that into the fabric, and that's just going to give you keep the fabric taut as you're starting to stitch. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the colors. Now the beauty of a lot of the threads that we use are DMC and an Anchor and Appleton threads, and the beauty of them is they're variegated threads. So that means you get the color change really very quickly. So you don't have to think about where you're putting the colors. The magic just happens on its own. So I mean, you start with a knot or without. That's up to you. But I mean, you can bring the thread through, and you've got to start with a guide on the fabric. So you're going to do those stitches fairly large and cover the whole print as you go through, and as you start to stitch, you'll see the design, you'll see that color change quite quick, and then you just turn to do a few more. So really that it's you're not counting the threads, you're just working across the surface of the fabric, and you really that's so easy. So there's no counting involved. And then occasionally, then after you've stitched the print, you can change the direction, and you can make some of the threads cross over, and then it'll look like there really are tangled grasses. So really, really easy to work. So the needle I'm using is it's called a chenille needle. So that means it's got like a sharp point and a large eye. So for us, that's easy. Anything that makes life a little bit easier, easy to use. And that's included in all the kits that we use. And it's a John James needle, which is a really, really high quality needle. And then as you start to fill this area in, you're just going to stop and change for the colours. So there is a plan on the instructions with all the stitches, so you can just really enjoy. The thing about our designs is that you just enjoy the stitching, whether you're sitting stitching in the garden or the kitchen or chatting to folk. You've got an easy project to do that you can pick up and put down. And as you go through your design, you'll cover all the straight stitch there. And I've got a little bit of satin stitch, but it doesn't have to be perfect. None of the stitching is meant to be absolutely perfect. You want it to be a little bit messy in effect. So really, really nice to do that. I think people do worry that the stitching's got to be absolutely perfect. Hasn't at all. And I'm just going to change colour now. So the beauty of these, the ones
Katrina,
called harmonies. Yes.
Oh, you can hear me. Brilliant. Excellent. Fingers crossed it's working. I've got a couple of lovely messages. One from Sarah, one from Carol, saying, forget about the cold and windy weather. Just enjoy watching the girls. And Sarah loves the colours you're using. I've got another message. I'm trying to go between like 4 different platforms today, so bear with me getting the questions to you. Pen Hewitt's doing one of your Rowandean card kits at the minute, and she says it's so calming and mindful. And then I've got another question is, if you didn't want to, because obviously they look fantastic as you've got them there all displayed in the hoops, but if you wanted to then take that piece and maybe put it into a cushion or something like that, what's the best way to go about doing that?
Definitely. We're working on a cotton background here. So if you wanted to incorporate it into a quilt or a cushion, you can do that. The dyes are fast, and the threads, if you wanted to have it a very decorative cushion, or you wanted to use it, you would be able to work it into a usable item, if you like, if you want to put it on a bag. Definitely, you don't always have to frame the work. I mean, when I've framed the work here, I've used a spring hoop, but you could easily, the fabric's big enough so that you can frame it in a rectangular frame or a frame with a mount. You know, there are lots and lots of different ways of framing. Okay, so I'm just going to go on to this one. So I've brought a couple of other ones to show you, just so that you know, it doesn't always have to be in a circular frame. So this is Foxglove Lane. All right, this one's worked. It's probably a little bit about Rowandean. How we've always done this, where we have a design within a design. So we've got the inner fabric that's provided in the kit, and then at the little sort of motif is worked on a piece of organza. So the organza is stitched, and then you can cut that out, and then you will reapply it onto the mount afterwards, just to give it that little bit of 3D. So this kit is something it has the mount boarded and the hardboard, and is a standard size frame, so you could easily get those. You know, you've got the mount to get the 3D bit, and again, it's only straight stitch in different directions. Some loose French knots, which we'll have a go at in a minute. Very, very easy to do. And then something else that we could look at is a sign of spring. So again, this is where I've used the background of the fabric, and that's going to be organza. It's on a cotton background, and so that's nice and really great to work on. And then the fabric is printed with the outline on the fabric. And again, this is something that I really get carried away with, and that's beads and sequins. So that just gives a little bit of texture there. Just a lot. I mean, you can, if you only want to do a little bit, then you can use a few beads, or you can go mad and use all the sequins in there. And again, this one here, this is spring hawthorn. So this was the design that was is a tree in our garden. Again, it's a way of creating a really, really easy design. The outlines on the fabric, and then you get all the sort of 3D. You get the sequins, and you can get the beads, and so it's not just enhancing your work with stitching. You know, you're using lots of other materials and knitting yarns to create your design. So it's really, really easy to do. And then something that I just absolutely love is where you've got textures. So again, this is a similar motif to the one on the Foxglove Lane, and you add that into your design. And the tweed here is used, it's exclusive to us, and it's beautiful to stitch on, and it'll create a fabulous design, a really, really fabulous design. So I'm just going to move those up. More or less in these designs, you'll find that the stitching is the similar stitches. So I'm just going to show you on this one a little bit of a French knot. Can't do without French knots. So very, very easy to do. And you bring the thread up from the back of the fabric and just hold the thread about a couple of centimeters away, and then you're just going to go around once, twice, and as you take the needle point down, then you'll find that that's just going to be enough, and just push the point of the needle through, and then just tighten that thread. And that's the secret of creating the French knot that's really, really a good shape. So only ever go around the needle twice, and then you'll get that beautiful shape. And as you start to keep adding, they become more relaxing, and then you'll get that color change. And for this particular one, you're just going to fill the whole design with French knots. So I think if you see on our website, if you find, you'll see all the products on the homepage, and they're featured. So all the ones we're looking at today are featured on there, and you can see all the different designs, and then you can look at close-ups of the stitches, close-ups of the designs as well. So French knots, fabulous. And again, just add a little bit and just take that thread away there. Let's come through to the foreground of it. So 2 stitches, you know, you can create whether you're working on a tweed background or whether you're working on a cotton background or whether you're working on the organza. Each of them really, really fabulous. So you can see on the other ones, we've got a couple of multicolored, the reds, and then I think probably one of my favorites is the midnight. So you're getting 4 of these. I think it's a really good bundle to get. I think looking at all the costs, you know, it would have been 59 something, and now it's 39, and I think 39.95. So you've got a really nice selection of color of projects there. I think these ones are a really great bargain. So I'm just going to add a couple more stitches there. Okay, and then I'm going to just swap onto one of the others.
Katrina, obviously you've got quite a lot of stitching in that one already. Do they come pre-printed with kind of guidelines on for you?
They do. So that's how it starts. So you've got the outline there, and I think that's good. You know, at the end of the day, you're not going to you cover the design. You don't want to see the print in the end, but it's nice to have a little bit of a guideline on there. It's just a starting point. You know, you can add more or you can add less, just depending on how carried away you get with the stitching. There'll be loads of threads to actually make that much bigger and full of colour and full of texture. And again, there's a little tiny piece of organza. So for this one, this time you're going to take a little piece of the organza and you're going to just take a little strip of the organza there, and then you're just going to run a gathering thread all the way through, a running stitch all the way through, and then just make sure you've got a knot on the end there, and then you're just going to take that all the way through, and then you're just going to gather that up, and that's just going to give you a little bit of a flower there. And then just fold the fabric between your fingers, and then you're just going to add a couple of stitches just to keep those folds in place. And then you're going to attach that using the same thread, and then you're just going to attach it, and that's the little tiny flower. So just a couple of stitches there will be enough to secure that, and you'll have plenty of fabric if you want to put a few more in there, and again that'll be held in place. So I'm just using one strand of that thread there, and then you can add the sort of texture, a little bit of texture there, and so you can add as much or as little as you want in there. Really nice to do. I'll just fasten that off there. I'm just going to take those out, and then I'm just going to bring across a little bit of one of the others that I seem to have buried underneath here. Okay, well, just find this one. So this is Spring Blossom. So this is how your fabric would come to start off with. It's got the outline on the fabric. Again, obviously you're getting instructions to do that, and the threads. And this is where I think the stitching comes into its own. If you look at all those different colours, so you can see that bit there. So you've got fabulous colours. You've got some knitting yarns, you've got some metallic threads, you've got stranded cotton. So that's probably the one that most people will have seen, the stranded cotton. Some of them are multicoloured, but it's the textures. And I think that's what I like about this kind of stitching, is that you've got texture, and the texture, although you're using all those colours and textures, you're using some French knots there. You've got some sequins. You've got the 3D motif there, and really super easy to do. I mean, there are instructions and there are step-by-step diagrams. There are basically 4 or 5 stitches. If I can find my one that's half stitched. It's a bit problem with working with a small table. It's disappeared, but anyway, so you've got I don't know where it is. I think I've buried it stitching. So you've got all the threads they're very easy to do. And I'm just going to put my work into the hoop. I've worked on a little table, and I've got everything piled up. It's not organised at all.
It's standard practice, Katrina.
I know, and I know it is. I've always, you know, I'm not the tidiest of people, but you know,
and I think
when it comes to piling things up,
when we're all streaming as well, because we're all streaming from home, we haven't got that giant kind of 3-meter counter to spread everything down, have we?
I know. I've had, yeah, and working in a small space, you know, that's yeah, that's hard.
But at the same time, much more representative of what people's setups will be at home.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking here now for the needle and all the rest of it. Yeah.
While
so
you're
there's.
I'll tell you what.
I've got it.
I'll go and sort your website out, and then we can maybe have a quick look at that when you are finished this next demo.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm just gonna forget that and just thread up the needle. Just thread up the needle. So, one of the things about the hawthorn tree is I've got fabulous colours, and we're going to use a stitch that's a lazy daisy. So a lazy daisy is really, really lovely to stitch. I'm just going to thread that needle there. Okay, so as you take your thread, I'm just going to thread that through. It's supposed to be easy when you're doing it. How many times have I threaded a needle?
Do you want me to quickly hop onto your website
while
you're doing that?
That's great. Yeah, I've got it easily.
I was ready.
Okay, so
I was prepared.
Okay, so this is obviously this tree. I mean, a hawthorn is just a fabulous tree when it starts to blossom. But one of the stitches that I just love is called Lazy Daisy, or a detached chain. My mum would have called it Lazy Daisy. So this is where you're going to take the thread, and you're going to start off, bring the thread up from the back of the fabric, and then you're just going to hold that thread, and then you're going to take the needle into the same place, and then just almost push the thread and bring the needle back onto the surface, and then put the thread underneath the needle, and then as you pull that, you've got that link, that chain there, and then you're just going to hold that loop down and take that, and as you rotate the stitch, then that forms the daisy part of it. All right, so you're still going to hold the thread, and you're going to take the needle into the same place, tuck the thread underneath, and then you've got your daisy, and that's going to be really easy.
There, you're working it in a kind of a variegated white pink one, so it's looking a lot more like blossom. But
yes,
if you wanted maybe a more autumnal tree, I'm assuming exactly the same technique, but just change the color of the thread.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can. That's the beauty of this. You can add colours in there. I mean, I've got quite gentle colours for this one. A couple of French knots. I've got a couple of beads, sequins. But again, the lazy daisies, they're quite pale. But you know, that's the beauty of this. If you want to change it, it's your design. You know, you can change it. You can change and use the colours in the foreground. You can do anything really. It's never wrong. And you'll enjoy doing just a few stitches and a few textures. So again, there are the little flowers, the little bits of organza, like a fabric flower, and you can add those, as many of those as you wish. And then I quite like the idea of using chunky beads at the base. And again, if you're doing one of those lazy daisies and you do a single one, you can make it into sort of crocuses or plants just by using and making the stem a little bit longer. Easy to do. But I think the organza just gives you that little bit of colour on the base of the design, and just put layers. So it is quite easy to work. It's sort of a fabric. It's a sheer fabric, really lovely to create colour and really we're creating the colour on the bias. So that means the stretchy part of the fabric, and you're just going to take a little piece, and this is when you're working in the foreground of your design, and you're just going to be a bit mean to it. You're just going to take that organza, fray it and distort the fabric, and then you're going to put layers at the base of your design just to give a little bit of foreground, and then stitch over it. So really it's the stitching that holds the organza in place, and you can be very, very minimal, or you can actually put loads and loads of different layers on. You'll still be able to see the print as a guide, so that you've got the size of the stitch there. Really, really easy to see, but you can have 4 or 5 layers there, and then pin those on, and then you'll get instant colour on the bottom of the design. Really easy to do.
Perfect. Well, I will quickly hop over to your website. Obviously, if you're looking at the screen now, you can see there is a QR code there. If you want to use your phone, that will take you directly to the Secret Sewing Club section on the Rowandean website, or you can type in Rowandean. I'm swapping it back just for 1 second, because the one place that I didn't add my new microphone was the website. So I am just about to do that now while we're just looking. We're back with you, Katrina, and we're just going to be 1 second while I very quickly set this up. It's all new. It's exciting though, because it means now I am not tied to the house. I can I can now do this anywhere. Nobody can stop me. Okay, let's try it again. So here's the Rowandean website, and if you have a look on there, you'll be able to see there's loads of different kind of categories for the kits. The ones that are on today generally will be here, will be on the home page. They are super easy for you to find. There is the Dawn Till Midnight bundle that you've seen just in the first demonstration, and then Spring Blossom is here, and I can see lots of other nice new ones that will be cropping up a little bit later. This is a Rowandean classic, the Garden Gate, though. And the hoops are on there as well. So if you do want to get hold of those spring hoops, which are great for when you're actually working on things, and then you can maybe use the kind of wooden ones and things for display once you're all done. So let me just grab Katrina back. Oh, it's a lot tougher without several monitors. I'll tell you that. Well, see, on this one, because I've got several monitors on the computer at home, let me just check if Anthea's back. Hey, she is. We'll all hug back together then. Hang on 1 second. Anthea, I just need to unmute you, because on my setup when I'm at home, I've got kind of several monitors, and it's dead easy. But here, I've got to manually switch between the different screens. But if I leave it all as one big screen, it's just all too tiny. But it's new. We're working on it. No disaster so far. Fingers crossed. We'll make it till 4 o'clock, because it is a shorter one today, because everybody's at Stitches. So Anthea.
Hello.
I can hear you. It's working. It's brilliant. Have you had a little calm down? You had a cup of tea, coffee, Valium?
Sorted. It is. I think it's really difficult to kind of get across the message how difficult it is for us all here in our own places, because we're not techie people, we're crafty people. So it's it's a whole new ball game.
Yes, it is.
And the
but
difference between doing your own, the difference.
We've been on a very steep learning curve, haven't we?
Oh, indeed.
Right, I shall pass it over to you, Anthea, and you can show us all of the lovely things you have.
Okay, now I am struggling on a small space to get everything under the camera, so it looks a bit like a jumble sale. So apologies everybody, if that's what you're looking at, my jumble sale. Well, in a moment you will be anyway. So so when I come to the Secret Sewing Club, I had a real think about what do I want out of the Secret Sewing Club? How am I going to connect with you at home? So if you go on my website, down the left-hand side, there's a series of blue buttons. And the top one today is Secret Sewing Club. So everything that I'm talking about is there on that button. You don't have to go searching for it. And within that button, there's then other things that open up too. It's not massive. I've kept it as simple as I can, but do go on and have a look. So, so things that I wanted to talk to you about is we do our tweed clubs. So you're very, very welcome if you want to join one of our tweed clubs. We've got 3 different ones going at the moment. We've got the small and the large, which basically translated is a fat quarter of tweed versus half a metre. But then you get added extras. So you get a discount code every month and you get patterns on top every month, different amounts according to which one you join. And there's the Tweed Bag Club as well. So the Tweed Bag Club works that every month you pay a small amount, and then every 3rd month I send you out some stuff for a kit, and then we have a day together over Zoom and we really get to know each other and we make a project. So every time it's a bag, because it's a bag club, and I listen to what you tell me you want to do, and then we design something which is exclusive to the bag club and it's never been seen anywhere else before, and then we do that together. So that's our clubs, and then I'm like gabbling now and I'm like, what else do we do? There's online classes as well. We've got a class running tomorrow which is for a bag, and then the latest one, oops, let me show you, is this sewing cushion. So it's normal cushion, simple applique. Look, it's a hedgehog without the difficult stuff because its head's in there, and then you open it up and it's a nice project cushion, you know, when we're all crafting on our knees. So it's not difficult to make. The joy is making it together with like-minded people, and the joy is as well that I'm here in Yorkshire. You could be in Bath, you could be in Durham, you could be in anywhere in the world, and we're all getting together in a way that we couldn't do normally. So there we go. That's something else that I wanted to promote on here. But today, the thing that we're really looking at today is our scrap stuff. So remnant sounds posher, doesn't it? So I've been taking that on the telly for several years now, and it's been really well received. Now, the thing about the remnants is the remnants, scraps, leftovers, whichever word you want to use. I buy them in, but they're a waste, I'll say waste product, a byproduct from another job. So when the mill are making sample books or whatever they're doing, they generate offcuts. And I go and I buy all that stuff, and it comes to me in big, like 20, 25 kilo boxes. We pick all through it and we make it tell a nice story. And then we present it to you as the story. So today I've got a few different ones. Now, Mike, if you could just switch me to a downhill camera. Now, it's a bit of a jumble sale, but as we work through, that jumble sale is going to, oh heck, are we upside down there, Mikey? Because I can't see my thing in. What's happening? What's going wrong here?
Do you want a minute, Anthea? Do you want me to quickly hop onto your website and
hop onto the
show
website.
People where everything is? And that'll give you just a second to get yourself, get all your ducks in a row. It's quite all right. So this is Anthea's website, and if you use that QR code, this is where you'll end up. You'll end up at the Secret Sewing Club. If you don't, you'll end up on the home page, and then the Secret Sewing Club's just at the top there. That's exactly where you need to go. So she's mentioned the online classes, Tweed Club, and the block of the month. And then these are the various different bundles that Anthea is going to have a look at today when she has got her ducks. Oh, how are your ducks, Anthea? Okay, there you go. You're back in the room then.
So today what I'm bringing you is, so as I say, it's all looking a bit jumble saley till we get through it. So we've got here the tartan gold. Now I've got things to show you that I've made with each. I'll do some in this demo, and then I'll get others out for the second, because otherwise we just really don't have the room. So with this option, the tartan, you get 1 A4 bag full, and it's just stuffed full. And in that you get, there's different weights. So we've got here, oops, we've got a nice red. We've got this kind of other one. I don't know the names of all these different tartans. This feels a bit more dress weight. This feels, I mean, they are dress weight, but this feels more woolly, like you'd think of tweeds, where You know, they are all wool, but they just feel all different. So in this one, you might get small bits like this, but then again, you may get great big bits like this one, which is, you know, what is there? There's, must be 3/4 of a metre long by about 5 inches wide. So that's a great big one. And you might get a couple of them in your bag, or then you might just get different ones. So there is no rhyme or reason for what you get. It is just an A4 bag of tartan. We've done lots of projects with this, so we can show you those. We also have, in fact, probably easier than getting the projects out, let me turn these around and the right way up, 3 different collections that I put together. None of these were brand new projects, but each has got 5 projects in that you could use remnants for. Now, the first one we did, Scrappy Dappy Doo, I've got to say, has always been the best, the most popular. And in here, so you get in here, you get a couple of pages which tell you about using remnants and offcuts. So we've got like standard drawings in there. Now these pages appear in all 3 books. So this is, you know, like getting log cabins using random size stuff, making, you know, like just making sense of things. It's nothing's like rocket science. It's all fairly basic stuff. So each collection has those 2 pages in it. And then they have 5 projects as well as. So in here, you've got 2 bags, you've got 2 cushions, and then you've got this 3rd cushion. So you've got 3 cushions, but the 3rd one, which I've separated, uses the tartan that I've just been showing. So if you like that kind of thing, that is the kind of look that you can get from the bags. Now, there is no rhyme or reason for what colours you will get in the bags. So you might find that you're heavy on the green, you're heavy on the red, you're heavy on whatever. It is just what it is as it goes. And then this, sorry, that one's called Scrappy Dappy Doo. This one, Get Thrifty. We made this, which I'm going to show you kind of the stuff that made that. It's the Tweed Treasures bundle. Then here, you know, if you're using longer remnants, you could get something like that. And then we've done an advent calendar, which is one of our most popular projects ever. That uses just little touches of wool for the roofs and pockets on the houses. We could do something like this, just a scrappy hanging heart. In fact, I did something very similar on Sewing Street this week. So if you saw that and you want some of these remnants to make a project like that, it's ideal. You just go your own way with the sizes you've got. And the other one, Make, Do, and Mend, that's got, so the longer strips are more suitable for the throw here, an alternate little heart. Now this one we actually did with our charisma squares, which are, you know, like you'd know that as a charm pack in cotton. And this is crazy patchwork. So if you like these projects, you've got Make, Do, and Mend, Get Thrifty, and Scrappy Dappy Doo. So they're going to really stand you in good stead, you know, for inspiration when you're using your remnants. So that's the, I'll give you them, Mike. That's the booklets. We've looked at tartan there. If I just see if Michael will be my little elf, could you put that into that bag, please? And I'll have a look at the next. So this was just an alternate bag of tartan. You can see the colours are, you know, slightly different. It's just what it is. And then the other options we've got the long raggy. Now these are always really popular. We don't always have them. It just depends what's available at that time. And the amount you get in these, it's a handful. The measuring is all very tenuous. So this is a handful. The bag is a bag full. The only one that we weigh is the 3rd one that I'm going to come to, which is the little Tweed Treasures. Now in here, you get, let me unravel it. All these are different. Now you might get a chunk that's the same, like in these here. There's a few of the same, or you might get every single one different. It depends. I've agonized for hours over how you would like to get these. Would you want all different? Would you want enough to do some repeats? And oftentimes it's when the mill's been doing a collection, and so I'm getting the stuff as they did it, where they stacked everything up. and have stamped through it all, so the colours often follow on. So you've got your spots there, you've got some neutrals, different shades of neutrals, always useful. Rust, I love that one. And then you're going into your purples. Again, there's only one bundle that's got this exact colourway in. You might get this one, you might get one of the others. So there is only one the same of anything. I'm just trying to give you kind of an idea. A lot of them are quite light coloured this time. But there we go. They're absolutely beautiful and gorgeous to use, particularly for like your you know, your strip piecing, like your whatchamacallits, your log cabins. Sorry, I couldn't think of my word then. Also, I'm just going to bring a bag in. This bag was made using the long raggies. You could also use the short ones for this. Beautiful log cabin there. We just added, you know, when I said I've agonized about giving you the same stuff, this was actually a 1/2 meter that was added to make the red and make the top there. But yeah, you just work with what you've got, and there's something joyous comes out of that. You know, that being forced to use what you've got. So, and then I'm going to show you something now that
Anthea, just while you're tidying that bundle
yep.
up and before you move on to the next one, I've got some questions to say. How was India?
Oh, well, if anybody didn't know that I've been, I've been posting like mad. It was amazing. And I believe you're going there as well, Hayley.
That hasn't been announced yet.
Oh,
but,
sorry.
Sorry.
If ever you decided to go.
We shall maybe drop that exclusive a little bit,
sorry,
in a week or two.
I'm
That's
so
all right.
sorry. I didn't know that was... Hayley might be planning it, if she ever does.
A nice, excellent back pedal.
I'm so
and
sorry.
Wendy said, Anthea, I made it. The cats are clean now. I'm assuming that makes sense to you.
It does. She's been doing a cattery out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, you ready with your next one?
I'm ready. Right, so
Excellent.
You know when I'm talking about we have a box full. So these are all rolled by my lovely mum Sylv, who may or may not be watching right now. And what we do, we kind of go in the box. And so first off, I can see here there's some big ones. So you've got less choice in there, but they're much bigger pieces. Oops, going. Then we've got some that are a bit narrower. This is kind of the average, this kind of size here. They're all different. I'm selling them to you as 100-gram bundles. In actual fact, we weigh them at around 110 because wool it's very affected by atmospheric conditions. So it will weigh different in winter to summer. So the stuff that you get in this time in winter, you know, if you weigh it in summer, it'll be a completely different weight. So we always weigh them around 110 grams to try and avoid that. But when you look in the box, you'll see that we get, you know, there's a massive range of stuff. So I would so like straight away on this one, I might give you one long one short one, and then find one that's a completely different colorway, so that you've got as much variety as I can possibly give you. Once I'm getting down to the bottom of the box, you've pretty much got what you've got. Beauty have been lined.
It's all right. I've just hopped onto your website very quickly to show people where those rolls are, because I understand that you may be using one of your phones as one of the cameras, and then somebody rings you and it all goes to pot. But if you are looking for those ones that Anthea was just showing you there, that's the 3 times 100-gram bundles of random tweed pieces, which you can see there, and they are super easy to find on our website. We just go to the Secret Sewing Club and then scroll down. They are just there. Let me go and put us all back to, well, not quite all back together. Let's pop Anthea back in. Have you got it got your phone sorted? Oh, hello.
Hiya, I'm here.
Are you back? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to turn my phone back on to tell him that I'm live streaming and stop ringing, but anyway, seems to have got the message.
Yeah, that won't work. It'll happen again in about 3 minutes' time.
Yeah. So anyway, so the thing was just kind of giving you all the kind of the peek in the box. So when I'm talking about looking in the box, this is, you know, this is the variety that we start with. So I'm just going to keep a couple of them out. Mike, can I pass you the box, please? Over there. And then, oh, where are we going to go? I'm going to open a couple of these, and then, whoo, the desk's starting to empty now, which is such a relief. So this is the one that most of you will get, this size. And in here, it's a byproduct of somebody doing another job. And the size is, yeah. So the size seems to be, hang on, 3.5. No, I was measuring. So that one is about 5 by 7 inches, and the rest of them are pretty much in line with that. I've got to say, personally, I think these are probably the most usable. In fact, if I go that way, it might work better. The most usable, and you see you're getting quite a lot. There's a different weight in there. That's very kind of merino-y feel to it. You may not get these colors, you may get something quite similar. You know, they've been doing a pattern book, and so you get things that roughly tell a story. I mean, not exclusively, because if we break a lump out to weigh it and then we need to add 20 grams, let's say, to make it up to the weight, you might get that 20 grams from a totally different bundle. But that's kind of the main size. And then the smaller, no, I've left the smaller one in the bag. The bigger ones today, now there aren't many of these, but if you were to get one of the bigger ones, they are longer and thinner. So you've got, let me measure that one. That one's about 11.5 inches by roughly 5 inches. So you've got, again, it's a good usable piece that you can use. You've got lots of greens there and some oranges. That's just this one bundle. Every bundle, you can see this one here is more kind of mustardy. So they're all going to be different, but they're fab. Now let me look at some projects that we've used these.
Anthea, if somebody would prefer a long skinny rather than a shorter, fatter one, are they able to request them if you've got them? Or
yeah, put it on your order sheet, and I will look at them. Obviously, there's a limit. The long skinnies, there's less of those than anything else. So it just depends on demand. If you're like the, you know, the one that's the one after they've all been allocated, then no. But I always try my best. So here, this is the kind of thing that you can do. So this is kind of the limit of live streaming. You only get the small little thing. So here I was making a bigger piece of fabric using crazy patchwork. So because it's remnants, you're really forced to use what you've got. So I'm going to turn this over onto the wrong side because you'll be able to see. You've seen how gorgeous that is. So with your crazy patchwork, you put a piece down, and you won't put 2 pieces down to start with, and then you stitch to join and you open them. Now you might be using, and it works better, I think, if you're using random size pieces, and then you'll stitch that down, and then you'll put your next one on, and you might put it on wonky and stitch through the layers and flip it open. And then you might decide, so if I do that like that, you've got a funny little bit there that may not look that appealing. So you'll put another piece on here and stitch through the layers and flip it open. And that's taking care of that little funny, you know, that little funny bit there. And you just keep on going with the crazy patchwork.
so are you stitching them onto like a foundation fabric?
I've just got wadding here. That's all
Right.
I've used for mine. Thanks, Hayley. So just keep on going. So put them on, stitch across and open it up. And you'll see very, very quickly that it's starting to look quite good. And that piece there that was quite big to start with, suddenly it's not looking like a regular shape and it's looking a lot smaller. Now you might want to then, you know, you might want to preserve it, and you might want to put one straight across there to preserve it, or you might decide that you don't want that line there to be straight, so you might decide you're going to do something that's going to you know, force that line to be different, so that you look like you've got piecing that's really, really wonky. And you just keep on going and going and going with your crazy, let me turn back over to this one, until you get a size that you like and that you're really happy with. Now you can go on top of this and you can applique. You can do all kinds of things like that. I've just got another one here. Sorry, I've got samples everywhere, and as things pop into my head. So this here, this is one of the throws in the book, and we've just appliqued on top of it. Well, there's no reason why you couldn't applique onto this, and you might pick something. So on here, on this dark green, we've gone for pumpkins because we thought it's that time of year kind of feel to it. But on here, you might think, well, this is a summer kind of fun thing. You might want to put, I don't know, muffins and teapots on there and applique something completely different. But the beauty of using the remnants, it forces you to layer things up, to layer the different things that you're doing. And also on here, and this feeds straight into what Katrina does, I'll hold this a bit closer to the camera, you can add hand stitching. So if you wanted to take some of Katrina's ideas and work them into something, you know, else, well, it's not something else, it's add to, absolutely go for it. So here we've just, and a lot of these stitches, I'm just mucking around and I'm not doing anything that's formal, you know, that's, you know, I did some crosses on there and then I decided they needed a bit extra. Or rather, did I do some running, 2 rows of running stitch and decided to add the crosses? I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. And here, I just put some crosses over that seam just to make it look like it was, you know, like a rough old seam that from years ago. I just wanted to, and this is really a sample piece, just playing around. At some point, I did plan to make it into a fidget thing, you know, like you do for the older people. So that sounds a bit bad, doesn't it? Older people. You know what I mean? The fidget things.
Yeah,
so,
we're pretty much there ourselves, aren't we?
We are. I'm getting there. You know, I had my roots done by a young person this week who told me how much grey I'd got and was very honest about it.
A bit too honest, maybe.
Yeah, I went to the older one and she told me I've got a lot less, so I'll stick with her. But that, so this is, so this is the kind of stuff that you can do. So this is the 100-gram bundles. Now you'll see some of them have got holes in. Because this is a byproduct, so they're making shade cards here, and they've made too many of these, so I've bought them in the in what's left, and it literally is that kind of stuff. So that's the 100-gram bundles. Let's put that to one side.
So Anthea, if you were just going to buy, I mean, 100 grams of wool tweed, what would that roughly normally equate to? Would it be a fat quarter's worth? Would it be
well, I can almost answer that, because
almost
well, it's all like loosely based. So this cushion here, one bundle would very roughly get you a cushion front, should I say. But when I say very roughly, you will have bits left on the side. So that's, you know, after you've squared it off. So it depends how frugal you are when you're using your stuff as to the actual size. But if I said, just for an easy rule of thumb, one bundle is equivalent to a cushion front, that would help you with your maths if you've got a project in mind.
You're kind of looking at fat quarter-ish with the extra bits around the.
So this one here, I'm just going to lay this one out on the cushion here, and let's see where we get.
And if you bought just a fat quarter, oh, I know you can't really buy just a fat quarter.
Well, you're looking at 25.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's £100 a metre fabric is this. So I have virtually covered the cushion front apart from this square here, and I've got left over 1, 2, 3. So I've used, this is the long bundle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 almost covers the cushion, another 3 there left over, so that's going to be nearly half again. Obviously, if you're using a smaller one, you're going to have more seam allowances in that, so it would sew up a bit smaller. And it is, again, it depends how you place it. The more times you cut this, the less far it's going to go. So it just depends. It's misleading to say you will get and put a fixed size on it. And again, when we're doing these bundles, different weights of wool will weigh, you know, different weaves will weigh differently. So if you've got one that's more lighter weights, you might get more pieces. If it's more heavier weights, you might get one or two less. I mean, they're much of a muchness, but you get the idea of what I'm saying. It's difficult to put an actual size on there, but that's kind of the best example I can do there. Now we do have another option as well, which is we've always called this raggy gold dust. Now I've just done the raggy wreaths here with this. They're great. Looking at them straight on, they'd look, you know, a bit different. So we're on the overhead camera, and at this minute I'm not tempting fate by switching it out for something else. You know, you just tie them on. So where are we? Let's switch to raggy gold dust. Raggy gold dust, you get, sorry, I've just dropped something on the floor. You get to oops. I've just dropped something that, yeah, I'm back. Could you pass me that wicker basket again, please, Mike? So
what would you do without Mike, Anthea?
Oh, well, I'd have to use his mum, wouldn't I? Our tech.
There's a standby. That's fine.
He's not bad, is he? So here, this is raggy gold dust, and raggy gold dust, you get 2 bags of this, and they're all every bag's different. So you can see there, I've just like fluffed it in there. This is the size of the basket there that I'm using. Let's tip it out and let's have a look what we can do. Now there's lots and lots of things that you can do with raggy gold dust. You've got your 2 bags, that's what you're getting. What I would do, and I'm going to ask you, Hayley, what would you do with this stuff?
Well, I mean, where we started out originally was doing proggy mats or
it was. I've got
rag
some here
rugs.
actually. Yeah.
So I mean, it'd be perfect for that because it's kind of already into strips. So
there you go.
As if by magic.
As
Look
if
at that.
by magic. Yeah, we're on the same page. Now this one, the lady who made this, she's very, very talented, and she did have the pick of whatever she wanted. So the actual one that you get, you can do this, but you do have varieties in your widths, whereas I think she cut hers all down deliberately.
Well,
for that.
if you have got varieties of widths, that's it. Fine. I mean, that's what we would class as a dolly mixture one, where you just literally chuck anything at it. Yeah. If you did want to cut them all down to the same width, then great. We do have, I'll go and find it on our website in a little bit. We do have a little tool, which if you've got slightly longer, thinner strips, it allows you to wrap it round and cut several pieces in one go.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that would be really good to have a look at. But yeah, so raggy gold dust, it's not a fixed size. It's when we've pulled everything else out, this is what's left. Yeah, which is why you get a lot more for your money, because you might be getting a small piece like this, but then you might get something much bigger like this. Now I'm going to just put this to one side. I've got here's some I prepared earlier stuff. We can get the sewing machine out. You'd be surprised to know, Hayley, it's here on standby. But I've got other things that we've done. Whoops. Oh. Yeah, I do. So let me start with just the bits. So if you get one, row edges together with another, sew on it, open it out, yeah, and then just keep doing it, sewing, opening it out, opening it out. You will eventually end up with, a piece of fabric.
Oh, yeah, they're all sold out on our website. But if somebody did want one, then just get in touch with you or me, and we'll get it sorted.
Okay. Is that your tool you're on about?
Yes, that's the one to make the strips for the rag rugs.
Oh, I was nearly cock a hoop then. I thought I'd sold out of raggy gold dust.
I don't know. I don't have your figures because remember, everything goes to you.
Yeah. I can't see. But anyway, so here I've sewn them together. I've made a piece of fabric. And then in this is the pile that dropped off the counter and didn't behave. So here, once you've done them, so you can see they're not all the same size. Let me get a few of the extras out of the way. They're not all the same size. So just start putting them together. I've got one straight edge here, which you can then add things to, and you'd square this off as you go, as you need to, alter that. So when I've done this one, I haven't done it in mind with joining it to that particular one, which is why I've just kind of gone random. And then you will, square it off and just keep going. And
I'm assuming pressing as you go will help you with this, because you don't want to press.
I do not press at all, because I just find that pressing just introduces new dangers. So these
is that just
here,
because you're working with wool, and if you were kind of maybe you're doing the same kind of technique with salve edges or something?
I do press, and I use a steam iron with the wool. So I know with the cotton, we're told dry iron only, and steam iron is a swear word. But with the wool, it's just not enough. You need that extra industry.
I don't think that's the case with cotton. I think you do whatever works for you.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? In the classes, in the patchwork classes.
Oh, what you're in the patchwork police?
Yeah, we've been taught.
We don't listen to them, Anthea.
No, I know. Well, this is the thing, Quilting Antics, when we started designing our own stuff, we got the rule book and we out the window it went. So here we have, this is a different one that I've done. Now, it's like a bit of a balloon, is this, because it's not very well looked after. And I know on wadding, it would behave itself better. But here, I just wanted to know what would happen if I used some raggy gold dust, and I can't tell you how much was in this because it's a while. And I started with just the centre square. Let me lift it up a bit. Started with just the centre square and joined one on and joined another on, and then another and then another. And I went round and round and round until eventually the lengths we see over here, the lengths, I was having to join things together to get the length that I wanted. And I think when you're working with, scrappy stuff, I think there's something quite attractive with that. Now, this would be better if it was on a piece of wadding, but if it was on wadding, I couldn't turn it over and show you what the other side looks like. Here we are. So what I've done here as I've gone round is I've top stitched, and that's one of our favourite techniques with the wool. We like to top stitch. So if I switch back to here, this is one where I've joined the fabrics together. Sorry, Hayley.
That kind of almost replaces the ironing.
Exactly.
Because it's just kind of flattening everything back out for you.
Exactly. So there's two things going on. So first of all, without top stitching, you can see that's got a mind of its own, and it's just going to do that. Now, not all wools, but some wools will fray. And you can get around that by using a larger seam allowance, but I'm like, my brain works in 1/4 inches, and that's where I'm going, is the 1/4 inch. So when I'm top stitching, what I'm inadvertently doing, let me turn over, because I've thankfully done it in red on the other side, each seam is sewn twice. In other words, it's not going to fray. And that's what top stitching brings to the party. Now, you could, if you didn't want to top stitch, you could zigzag all these row edges before you began, but you'd have to do every piece of fabric, where I'm doing 2 at once because I'm going through 2 layers at once. But top stitching, so I've sewn my first seam, demonstrate on this side, I've sewn my first seam, and then I've sewn over it through the seam allowance, and that's meaning that this is behaving itself. That is doing what I want it to do. We haven't got any need for taking other precautions. So, as I said, fraying, I once had a project, I weighted it, and I took it to a show, and by the end of the show, it was a dog, and everybody had picked it up by its tail, and its tail was hanging off. And I thought, oh, right, we need to do something about that. If you're using it for a cushion, the chances are that it's not going to get that level of use. And also here, I've appliqued on top. So that applique is also going to hold seams nice and solid as well. So you're top stitching. This one isn't top stitched. The cushion itself is pulling it all flat and taut, nice and to shape. So just make your own mind up as you go along. It's whatever you want it to be. But we do lots and lots of things with the raggy gold dust. So here I've got if you get just a square and you just put one piece that way, one piece that way, and make a triangle. It's not to shape. This is liberated piecing, which I learned from a friend of mine called Janet. I love liberated piecing because I can do a star with this without even measuring. Yeah. All I would do, once I've done my point, I would cut that out to, let's say, 2.5 inch square, following the once you've done this, you follow the rules of patchwork. So here, not a great idea to do green on a green mat. So let's have a see if we got something we can put under it. Oh, heck. No, I'm not. I've got an envelope. No, I haven't, because it's got somebody's address on the back. I can't use that. I've got a great big yellow jiffy bag envelope, but it's got.
While you find something, I'll quickly show people where those Raggy Gold Dust packs are. So again, you're on Anthea's website, you're in Secret Sewing Club, and then if you scroll down, there are your Raggy Gold Dust ones there. So they're $24.99. Are you back in the room?
I showed you that really crude way of doing in fact, I've got 2 bits here I can show you again. So just your first one on there.
Can you bring it a bit further up? Thank you.
Is that better? Your first one, stitch, flip it back. Yeah, we'll put that. We don't need it to be thing. And again, decide where that's going to go. Stitch, flip it back. So that diamond is going to be slightly different to that one, and especially once I've squared it off, because I haven't even compared it. I haven't tried to do the same. Here's some that I've squared off. So you'll notice, I mean, that one, look at that. What would the quilt police say about that point? But I really don't care in this, because there's something really beautiful about doing things that are liberated and never meant to be exactly the same. So I've got a little 9-patch friendship star here. There's another brown one knocking about somewhere, but we won't get fixated about that. It's somewhere. But you get that there. But there's well, we got some scissors. I'll cut a new one.
Nothing like demos on the fly, Anthea. We've all done it.
We've all done it. We've all there. That's made it a bit prettier, hasn't it?
Push it a bit further down for me, just a little touch.
Yeah.
You could just push the whole fabric. Would probably.
Is that too far? I know it would have been easy, wouldn't it?
So you're there now. You're in.
Well, you know the thing. I'm talking to you in the camera that's real time while I'm looking at the camera that's on the delay. So there we go. We've got the star in there, haven't we? There. So you can see it's quite a wonky star, but there's something quite attractive about that wonkiness. I really like that idea of being wonky, about deliberately not being scared by the whole thing. You know,
it's got that kind of naive, rustic
exactly
look.
Thank you, that's the word. So but you can do that from the Raggy Gold Dust. So your Raggy Gold Dust, you're getting as I say, 2 bags. You know, the sky's the limit, really. You don't know how much what you can make. You know, we've got here little log cabins that we've done there. Oh, I'll tell you, I'm on a roll now. We've got hexagons. Did you think you could do hexagons out of scrap? I mean, I just pieced them together and then cut them out. They look fabulous. You know, I've top stitched them. They're absolutely rock solid. I just love the log cabins with it all. And then you can go further, and with your piece of fabric, you can do half square triangles. You know, so all of a sudden you've got something that's starting to look not like scrap anymore, because you've pieced these together. You know, who knew that they were all wonky sizes before you started? And then we've got, like, with the tartans here, if you're into your mixed media, I know it's a bit crude, but we just wanted to show you, you know, like, you can just card craft with it if you want to. You can do what you want, your MDF stuff. whatever it is that you fancy. So I'm floundering a bit now, Ailey. So if you want to. Katrina in a beautifully organised demo.
And everybody's back together.
Oh, can we have a
apart from
face
Anthea.
camera? Yeah, we're on it.
Come
Don't
in.
you worry, we're here. Just have a brew while we sort our tech out.
We'll just chat amongst ourselves.
I'm here.
Katrina.
I think I forgot about that bit. I was so carried away.
Yeah, I know you were off. You were on one. I mean, I think we were all planning on finishing at 4 o'clock today, but that might not be the case anymore.
Maybe I'll just get one in then.
No, we've got time.
Now.
We've got time for a little one. Don't worry. Right. So anyway, getting back to India. How was India? What
Fabulous.
did you see? What did you do?
We flew into Delhi. We did the Golden Triangle. We went to Ranthambore National Park, saw tigers in the wild. We went to the Pakistani border, which was just the most incredibly wonderful mayhem. There are videos of me dancing with an Indian flag looking like a sparkler with me stripes down my face. Because you get off the bus when you get there and you just get attacked and mobbed and they want to paint Indian flags on your faces. And we went up to Shimla, which is in the Himalayas, about 250 kilometres short of China. So that felt a bit weird.
Wow.
So yeah, it was fab. Really good.
So kind of once in a lifetime one, maybe?
Yeah, I'd like to go back, but maybe a different part.
Okay.
Yeah. The Sikh Golden Temple was my absolute pinnacle of the whole trip, even better than the Taj Mahal.
Have you ever been, Katrina?
No, never been. I'd love to go. But
Want to.
You never know. You never know.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Where's your biggest fanciest holiday or furthest afield holiday been?
Furthest afield, Japan. We went to Japan, Tokyo. I did a workshop in Japan, and it was just fabulous. We didn't go for very long, but we saw rice fields, and we were treated so well, and we did a little bit of stitching there as well. But it was somewhere definitely would love to go back to.
Yeah, see, I've always quite fancy Japan. Matt's not up for it. I think it's a food thing. See, I would be quite into all the kind of the sushi and all that, and he's just like, no, I won't eat that. Like, okay, well, you stay, and I'll go then.
Yeah, we loved the food and everything about it. So we would definitely go again.
Did they have the cherry blossom going at the time you
were? No, we were in a different part, and we were in somewhere that's called British Hills, I think it was called, and it was a really strange venue. All the places were named after things in the UK and houses, so that wherever you were either in a Victorian house or Georgian or and the different pubs, the oldie pub, and so it was quite a really weird place to go and visit. But I think in the wintertime it was a ski type of place.
Oh, but, you never think about Japan for skiing, do you? But again, a lot of mountains, very cold. So
it was great. But the food was just fabulous. Food was just delightful.
Oh, because I know Ted's a big foodie, so
definitely. Definitely, and that's his first priority, really, is when we go anywhere. What restaurants are there? Yeah, it's got to be good food and all the rest of it. So when we go to Islington, in a couple of weeks' time, he's already booked all the booked all the restaurants, looked at some places.
Happy Ted is quiet, Ted.
Yeah.
Right, I am for once. I'm not demoing because obviously I'm not where I should be and I have no sewing machine. But we do have a couple of bargains on our Crafty Self City website. So if Katrina, you want to get set up for your next one, I will quickly show people those. The mic's alive, excellent. So I'm going to show you what's there, and I will show you on the website as well. However, the two that I brought with me to show you, I've just noticed I've already sold out. But it's fine. There are other kits available on there. So one is this one. I've got a couple of cave kits. So this one is tropical orange. Unfortunately, this one's the one that sold out, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of how much fabric is in these kits. So this one makes a lap size quilt. Now there's another, I think there's another version on there, which is there's a couple of different blue versions left on there. And this one, it should tell me how much fabric is in this one. Let me have a look. 4.5 meters in this one, and all of the quilt kits are half price. When we lost Create and Craft, we rang up the guys, we did some deals, and when they had leftover stock, so I mean, I will be complete. I was thinking this one maybe had it, but it didn't. If it does come with a little Create and Craft logo on, that is exactly why. Basically, we took advantage. I think sounds a bit wrong, but yeah, we made lemonade from lemons is what we did, and we got a load of quilt kits at a brilliant price. So there are some cave ones on there. Oh, this one's a big one. Oh, there are some Sanderson and William Morris ones on there as well. And there are a load of William Morris quilt backers as well. So there's various different sizes. I mean, some of them, yes, massive, big enough to back a quilt. Some of them are only 1 meter, but they're that extra wide width. So they're 108 inches wide, which is brilliant if you may be thinking table runners, if you're thinking, you know, maybe bed runners, things like that. Or if you're just wanting a lot of William Morris fabric, which is equivalent to kind of about 1 meter, probably 1 meter and a bit's worth if you just had it as a regular piece. So they are on there as well. Let me just go and grab the website. I was busy. Do you know what? I'm gonna just switch it over because I was busy searching for I was busy searching for the Proggy tools, which I couldn't find. But if you head on to, let me just move that, Secret Sewing Club, and then 23rd of February, obviously, which is today, you'll see there are the quilt kits. I see a few have already gone. So then we've got 3 options left. We've got Blue Dreams, Festival in Blue, and there's another Festival in Blue, which one, well, because we checked every single quilt kit that we got, one piece of fabric was missing. We've made a small substitution in that one, but it will absolutely work with what is there. So when you go into the product, it will show you kind of about what level you're looking at, and it will also tell you the finished size of the quilt. So you can see this one is a whopper. This one is kind of a double bed sized quilt that is coming out of this one, and half price is £80 rather than 160. There are a couple of other little deals on there as well. So as I said, get out of the one, there we go, into this one. You've got the extra wide William Morris backers on there as well. You can see quite a variety of colours, so do have a little look on there if you're after some William Morris. Now our Facebook deals are still up from Tuesday, and in that there are some bolt end bargains and super slim and super stiff by the meter has got a sneaky discount on as well. It's got about 25% discount off on by the meter batting as well. So you can hop on there and grab yourselves an absolute bargain. And if you are maybe thinking about adding to your kits for Katrina's beautiful embroidery projects, we've got loads of organzas on there, and they are down to 50p per half meter. If you're going to go for any of them, the rainbow one is my top tip, because you are going to get all of your colours within one piece. So you can just chop and change, and especially for layering them up, you can cut out a little pink section, cut out a little bit of yellow section, layer them on top, you're going to get orange. So that one is a really good top tip for having one piece of fabric that can do lots and lots of different things for you. So let me just switch back and then go and find the lovely Katrina. There she is. Are you ready, my love?
I am ready.
know.
Yes,
You're
yes,
ready.
yes, yes,
Always
yes,
ready.
yes.
I mean, I don't know why
Always
I ever
there,
doubt
always
you,
ready.
Katrina. I mean, there's two guests which I can always count on, and that is Katrina and Nicola from Daisy and Grace. I mean, you
Oh,
could,
lovely.
there we go. Just proved my point, Anthea. Well done. But it's fine. No, you've had a very busy day, and it's absolutely fine. So, Katrina, I shall switch it over to you and
Okay,
take it away
lovely.
for your next batch of demos.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so I've brought along a couple of designs. The theme is spring. So I've sometimes, apart from all our pictures that we do, I've got a needle case that you can create. It's something. It is a work of art, but it's something that's really, really useful. So I'm going to take you through the picture here. So it's here. This is the finished design. So obviously you've got two sides to the design. Again, there'll be an outline on the fabric and lots of organza, different colours that you're going to overlay the colours, and you're going to pin those on, and then you're going to stitch. It's called Spring Sensation. So you've got lots of wallflowers, you've got bulbs, you've got daffodils, you've got tulips. You know, it's a really, really, whatever you think of as spring, it's on this design. So you work the design on the tweed. It's actually got the outline on the fabric, and then you can, in your kit, you'll get the fabric for the lining for the actual needle case, and then you get the hand dyed felt. Okay, so it's in the hand dyed felt. You can cut that, you can leave it as one piece, or add some of your own designs. There'll be enough threads in the kit to actually enhance the pages. So I've just stitched a couple of just freestyle, just anything that you can think of that are daisies. Use it to practice a stitch, or whether you like. I've added a little bit of cherry blossom there. Just each page could be a stitch, and you can develop the design. Or I know that a lot of our customers have shown us at shows where they've had a card kit, or they've had a miniature, where they keep some of the little pieces of fabric and the bits they've stitched, and they make it into sort of a textile journal. So you could add other pieces. These aren't in the kit, so they're from other designs, but you can enhance the pages and just keep all your needs. If you're going to a friend's house, you've got a perfect little area where you can take your needles. You can make pockets for scissors. You can add a lot of detail in there, and just take that with your, if you're traveling to India or wherever you're going, you could. It's a great design. So just to show you a little bit about this particular one. So I've got my fabrics here, and I've got the organzas that are layered. You'll actually see the print on the fabric. You'll be able to see that very clearly. And then you're just going to layer the organza, and obviously you create different colors, but the idea is spring. So I've got a little bit of sky, lots of yellow, some mid greens, and they're just placed onto the fabric and then pinned. So I'm going to I would just tack that on just to keep those in place, and then you can start your stitching. But I mean, you've got a whole range of colours there that you can use. So we've got all daffodil type colours, we've got sort of crocus colours, and then we've got various shades of green. And I do like having knitting yarns on there, as well as probably the traditional stranded cotton. So some are really variegated, and great magic when that happens. But you've got a whole collection. I mean, these colours here I just love. They're tulips in the garden. Really, really beautiful colours. You can get every kind of bulb possible in different kinds, and there are threads that are just perfect for that. So you'll get your colours in there. And then something that's really, really easy to do is when you actually start to stitch, I'm just going to show you a little bit of a wallflower here. So the wallflower, you can see the shape of the flower, and I've stranded the thread down to just 3 strands. So really you're going to start off. Now you don't want to see the print, so you're just going to stitch beyond the print, and you're just going to do radiating straight stitches from one point and then to the outer edge. And really it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be you know, you're not placing a color in a certain place. The magic will happen. So you add a couple of straight stitches there, and then you can go back through the fabric, and then you want to really fill that shape with straight stitches. And you can almost blend the colors, but don't worry about it. Just see what happens as you use that thread. You know, if you start with one bit that's paler, then you can switch that round and start next time with a darker color. But it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't think about it too much. And then you're just going to fill that complete shape in there and move to the next kind of color. You can always go back if you think that, you know, you haven't got that absolute the way you want it. You can go back over that and just a couple of stitches there, and you're going to get that variation with the threads. And then when your thread's about 5 centimeters, then you can turn that over, and then just a couple of stitches are just going to keep that in place. We're not bothered. We don't care what the back looks like. I mean, years ago, all those people that said, you know, the back's got to be as good as the front, forget all that. Just enjoy the stitching, and don't care what the back. It's going to be covered anyway. So as you work through your design, I think you'll see these are the ones that I was doing before here. And then again, the tulips there with that variegated thread. And again, French knots that we've done earlier, and straight stitch. So really you're building up the design. And then once you've done all the elements, daffodils or wallflowers, snowdrops, you're going to fill in with all the sparkle. So the sparkle is great. You'll get in your design, you'll get a multiple collection of beads. You'll get sequins, you'll get sparkly glittery beads, you'll get all kinds of beads and sequins there that you can use as you wish. You can be very minimal, or you can actually use them all. Ted says I put too many beads in, but I like to give you a lot of choice. So you can either be very minimal or you use loads. So I'm just going to show you to use it to stitch the beads on. In your kit, you'll have a fine thread. It's called Nymo. It's a thread that doesn't stretch. So as you start to stitch, the beads won't fall. So you're going to bring the thread from the back, and then you're just going to pick up your bead and just catch the bead onto the needle. Now I use a milliner's 10 needle, so it's a bit easier to thread than a bead needle. So I'm just make life easier. You'll get that in your kit, and then you're just going to take the thread down, and then you can bring up the thread, and that's enough to hold the beads on. Obviously, if you're going to put this on a cushion, then perhaps work the thread a couple of times to make it a little bit stronger. And you can build up the texture, and there'll be a mix of beads. I usually buy them as like a bead soup, but I tend to mix a lot of the color combinations, so they're my own mix of beads and sequins. So I sort of mix those up to create the effects that I want. So beads are great. So they're more or less the last thing that go on your design. Obviously, you've got to think about the hoop. And then to fasten off, you just take a couple of stitches. And that's just to secure that on the back. Now, when you've completed your needle case, in the instructions, they're worked for to do it all by hand. I think this particular one, I machine stitched together, but you can do both of them all by hand. And I think I prefer to do it by hand. I think it's a little bit easier to do that, and all the materials are in your kit to do that. But if you didn't want to make a needle case, then we have another design that is a similar style of work, but this time it's called Tulips and Daffodils. So it's a little bit smaller, similar colours, but they're all the colours that are now, aren't they? The daffodils are coming up. The tulips aren't quite they're there for us yet, but the snowdrops are there. So it's quite a nice way if you want to make a picture or a panel for a cushion. So we do extra fabrics. We do a fat quarter. So we do a fat quarter in the natural, and we do a fat quarter in the pistachio. So it is a tweed fabric now, and it is quite big, but very big to work with. And you can obviously use that as a backing for a cushion, or the natural. So you'll see that on the website. Fat quarters. I think Ted put them on the feature page, I think.
Do you want me to have a little look for you on the web?
Yes, I think they are. I'm sure they're there. They're $13.95, and that's going to give you. It's a nice weight of fabric. If you've got your own projects and you want to use them, a lot of our customers do like to have a couple of fat quarters, for a project that's ongoing that you're doing. But they definitely we just love. I mean, the pistachio, I just love the color.
Right.
But the natural one seems to be.
I have
so
found
yeah,
them,
I think they'll be.
I will quickly show people where they are. So if you head onto the Rowandean website and you are looking for those extra fat quarters of fabric, if you go to embroidery accessories and then across to fabrics, that's where you'll find them. There are all sorts in there. So there's the pistachio, there's the natural colour, both of those 100% wool, and then you've got various organza packs as well to give you all of the colours that your heart could desire. There you go.
That's good.
Back to you, Katrina.
That's good. Okay, well, the next design that I'm going to show you is my newest design. It's not quite finished. I'm so excited to show you this. Oh, I keep putting it in the wrong place. There we go. All right. So this is Hazy Meadow. So this is one of the largest sizes of kits that we do. It's just, I have so enjoyed. I know it's not quite finished yet, but shortly it will be finished probably for next week. It's to go. It's worked so that when you're framing it, you can work it on a canvas board and that's easy to frame. Quite just use drawing pins to fix that. But I'm going to show you show you a few more stitches on this design. Obviously we've done a little bit on Lazy Daisy earlier on, but there are a couple of other stitches I'd like to show you. I'll just swap that in there, and I'm just going to put this. So with this one, we're using the 7-inch spring hoop, and I've written the instructions so that you'll be working one side and then the other, and you can move the hoop along. Eventually, it may get to the point, if you've put a lot of beads on, that the fabric is stable enough to work without the hoop, if you wish. So I'm just going to put that back into there, and I've probably got a lot of beads on here, so it may not stay in position. Okay.
And I've noticed you've got some tacking stitches along your organza there. Is that something that you would normally pin, or you do recommend tacking it rather than pinning it?
Well, we've got the flower head pins, and they're good to put the organza on, but it's just too many pins. So I would definitely recommend tacking just with one strand of thread, or if you've got a real thread of your own there, you can do that, and that comes out. So it'll come out at the end, and it doesn't once it's on there, it's just to keep the organzas flat, and then take it out.
Is that mainly for larger projects where you're going to be moving the hoop around?
Yeah, and I just think it keeps it flat, keeps the organzas flat as well, especially if you have put a lot of layers on, and then obviously you can still see it, so you'll be able to remove that easily. Just ignore it once it's on there. And I think I'll just get my colour. So I would like to show you a couple of other stitches. So this design, it's got the same idea. We've got lazy daisies in the flowers. We've got daisies in straight stitch. We've got French knots. We've got long-legged French knots. We've got a couple of other stitches, but really the basis of this design is straight stitch, really. And then you add the details. So really, you're going to stitch over the print, and then you're going to add the texture, and you're going to sort of do the daisies, do the flowers, and then we'll add the texture through the straight stitching. So I'm just going to show you a little bit. So this one is called Fly Stitch. So you'll definitely see this in London if you get chance, and then usually when we launch a new kit, it'll be on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll see it on our website. And I think there's a little bit of a picture on there at the moment. So we've got Fly Stitch, which is going to give you some really, really spiky flowers, spiky grasses. Obviously, again, I'm using a variegated thread, and you're just going to take the loop, and that's, so it's like an open-ended stitch, and that the length of the where you're holding that stitch down can be short, long, or you can be just to create dried grasses and different effects like that. And you can stitch, once you've got your straight stitching on there, you can really build up that texture, and you can ignore your straight stitching and stitch over the top, and you'll get some real texture through there. And sometimes it's up to you really whether you cover all the organza or you leave some of it showing. Sometimes it's nice to leave a space, and that's just going to be added in amongst there. So you'll see I've scattered beads there. I've scattered, I tend to make the base of the design much darker, so you'll see teal beads and some interesting fabulous colours there. And then on the lighter areas, I've used a different combination of colours. And then further, as you get to the top of the design, it becomes more hazy, so that you'll just see all those, the butterflies and the bees and the sequins. So this is, you can imagine that day where it's warm weather, it's the sunshine, it's just you're almost looking into a meadow, and you'll see all that wildlife there with the butterflies and the bees. And especially when the weather's like today, it's nice to work with lots and lots of different colours. So I hope you'll enjoy doing this one. We're almost at the stage, I've almost finished it. So hopefully later in the week, we'll put it on the website and you can have a go. So it's Hazy Meadow. It's a really nice one. I'm so excited. I could just sit and stitch this now. Just leave me and I'll carry on stitching. I can't hear.
Is that better?
That's better. Yes, that's better. Sorry. I couldn't hear. Sorry, Hayley.
Well, I was eating a biscuit because, as you well know, I was left a lot of snacks this time.
And you've got to get through it all.
Well, yeah. So, I was left a lot of snacks this time. Not in my house, as you can see, and Starfish is still there if anybody wanted an update. Not in my house. I'm in Adam's house, who is one of my nice friends, and he has left me so many snacks. And Andy's also lent me his microphone thing because mine's all linked into my computer back at home. So yes, so apologies for that. I was eating a snack, and this is what I see for most of the you've switched it back. That's what I see for most of the duration is Katrina just stitching away there.
I know, but you see, I just love it. This craft is very, very portable, and you can just chat and chat amongst friends, or you can just. It's good.
Is that one that you would maybe look to put on if you wanted like a super fancy cushion on one of those chairs that nobody's allowed to sit on?
Absolutely. I mean, I do have one of those on the pistachio, but it would definitely look fabulous on the natural. And I think that's definitely something when we go to the show in London that I will have on display, and I will definitely put it on Instagram anyway.
When is the show in London?
The show in London is 20th to the 23rd of March.
Okay.
It is in Islington, so it's a fabulous show. The Stitch Festival, we've done it quite a few years and since it started, and it's really an exciting show. You'll see lots and lots of fabric, quilting. You know, you'll see loads of different crafts there.
So people will be able to
and Ted's restaurants.
Ted's all about the restaurants. But people will be able to catch you down there. If
yes, come and say hello.
See the new kits. Obviously, sneaky launch here, but if they want to come down and see you and see all the kits in real life and have a chat to you about techniques and things like that.
Absolutely. We've got a great spot on the mezzanine. You'll see us from every part of the hall, and yeah, come and say hello, and yeah, it'd be good.
Perfect. Anthea.
Hello.
Looked like you had your thinking face on there.
Always thinking.
Oh. Excellent. So we've got as long as we want, really. Oh no, we haven't, because we're supposed to be off on time because of a craft storing now. Do you want to have another quick whiz through anything?
Well, we'll just recap what we've already done. For anyone who's come in, I won't do any kind of. I'd got prepped for a demo, but I won't. I'll just go through what we're flogging. How about that?
It's your time, Anthea. You can do whatever you wish.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mike, hit it. Can we have a downhill camera? Let's wave the hand.
Downhill camera.
An overhead camera, darling. You see, as you keep saying, Hayley, we're not in like proper TV land now, so we can do it.
No, there's no rules anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no rules for embroidery with Katrina. There's no rules for tweed with you. There's just no rules.
I like no rules. I work well with no rules. So today it's all about remnants. It's a remnant show. So I did these so many times on the craft store, on the Create and Craft, whatever we were calling it, Ochanda at the time, and they were always really popular. So it's the first one I've done with the Secret Sewing Club. So we've got here, this is our tartan bag here. If you go on the website, it's all on there. Top tab is Secret Sewing Club, and all this stuff is there. So with the tartan, you get one A4 bag. There's no like measure to this. It's just a bag full. That's it. That's as technical as we get. You may not get, well, there's only one bag that looks like this. This is quite a reddish one. You might get, it might be heavier on the green. There's browns in there. There's all kinds of weights in here, of colours and everything. And the sizes go from small and skinny like this to, let me find the big one, to you've got a bigger piece here. So it's all remnants, and there you go. So that's the tartan. There is only limited amounts of this, so when it's gone, it's gone. It's not something that I can generate myself. I'll just try and do a little bit of rough housekeeping there, and then we'll go to Raggy Gold Dust, which I focused on quite heavily in my demonstration. With Raggy Gold Dust, you get 2 A4 bags of the small bits there. So you've got, here's one tipped out here. Sizes there. Hang on a minute. The sizes, these are the smallest. So you may get long and skinny, you may get a bit fatter, whatever. It's all in there. This is the smallest stuff. If you want to watch on catch up, you'll see that I showed you the kind of things that we do with it, and we come out with some spectacular results from using this. Every bag's different. Some are lighter, some are darker. It's 2 bags. So what I will do, I'll try and give you 2 that look completely different. And then we are also doing our long raggy bundles. Now, oftentimes these are one of our best sellers, and it's a handful. So when we're putting them together, you get a hand in there. It's a handful, and then it's folded in half. That's the measurement on these. They're all different. They all use different fabrics. So yeah, everything that I've got here are quite similar, but in actual fact, they're all very different. So lots of stuff you can do with them. Yeah.
On your website, is that the octopus bundle?
That's the one. Oh, do you know what? I didn't think about that. We've always called it long raggy strips officially, and everyone's referred to it as an octopus. So for the first time ever, I put it down as an octopus. So yes.
That's okay. I'm just
me
making sure that
trying to
everybody
get
can find it.
yeah, me trying to get colloquial, and it's the only time that we haven't been. And then the other option that we've got is the tweed treasures. So I opened some of these before. There's a couple of different sizes going on. So the main of them are this size here, which is, are we on downhill camera? Yep. Is this size here, which are roughly, very roughly 5x7, and they may not all be the same size. Hang on, I've got the way we are in the camera. Sorry, I lost my camera for a moment then. So the bundles, I'm selling them to you as 100 grams. We actually weigh them at around about 110. So if there's any like atmospheric conditions affecting anything, because it does with wool, whatever the weather's like, in wet weather it weighs a lot heavier than in dry weather, so we still want it to weigh the 100 grams even when it's summertime, so that's why we weigh it a bit heavier. So that's the smaller ones. And then we looked at these earlier. If I show you the darker one, that stands out better, doesn't it? So we've got this kind of shape as well, which is kind of just a bit bigger than turn it around there, that one. So the tweed treasures, you will get 3. It will be a random 3, and I will try and give you 3 different ones. So first out the box, you'll be getting probably a long one, and then you will get a small one, and then if there's one that's a bit narrower but longer, you would get that as well. And then we'll just probably later on, everyone will be getting 3 of these. I will try and make the colours different. So probably I'll try and give you a light, medium and dark, but it does depend where you are in the list of orders as to what's left in the box, because don't forget, I'm buying these as a remnant product. So I've got what I've got. It isn't something that we generate ourselves. So yeah, so that's a quick whiz through them all. So unless you want me to start into a long demonstration, that's me done, Hayley.
Oh, we haven't got bags time because
no, we're fine. We're
now
fine.
being on the craft store, I do have to finish on time. So we've got about 7 minutes. So if there's, do you know what? I have got a few questions for people. Let me just go and grab those. Right. So Penn Hewitt, I think this one, well, it could be for either of you. Penn Hewitt's using the green tweed. I think it's Katrina's green tweed, the pistachio, because she did mention earlier on that she was doing a Rowandean kit, and I have shown you where that is, so you should be able to find that. Somebody was looking for stock of the rainbow organza on the Craft Yourself Silly site. I've quickly emailed Bridget, who delighted to receive that on a Sunday, and she's confirmed there is some more, so I have updated the stocks on that. Anthea, when you were putting the scrappy log cabin together, what type of batting were you using?
Just whatever you've got. I use cotton. Personally, I like to keep natural fibres together, but you know, use whatever you've got. Don't be restricted by having to go out and buy something specific.
Right. And could you just do it with like a calico backing if you didn't want the bulk on it?
Don't see any reason why not.
Perfect. Okay. It's going out in 4 different places today, so I'm having to just switch about between the various different Facebook comments. So which one have I just done? So I'm going to go on the craft store one now. with caller. Just chat amongst yourselves. There we go. So, questions off this one. Thank you for a lovely afternoon of anarchy, ladies. Brilliant. That's about right. Are you on at 5 p.m. on Thursday? I didn't think we were, but I will go and have a look on the craft store just to check. And if we are, well, I'm sure we can pull something together. Okay, Linda says, how do you order from the craft store? You don't order from the craft store directly. You order from these guys directly. So if I very quickly put Rowandean up, then you can see if you're wanting to order any of Katrina's kits, then you've got the email along the. Can you do some pointing for me, please, Katrina?
Yeah. Email,
definitely. So emails, close enough. Emails along the not email. Websites along the bottom, or if you've got a smartphone and you find a QR code easier, then the QR code is up there as well. That's up the top, one side or the other. Whichever way you point, you're guaranteed it'll be on the other side because everything's always upside down and back to front. Right, and then if I switch to Anthea, then you will be able to see the same on hers. Go on then, you try pointing, Anthea. Where's, QR code? Oh!
QR, an email. Is that right? Have I got it?
It was a website on email, but I'm going to give you it because you beautiful. We just need a soundtrack for it now. We'll just make it look like you're dancing. Oh, it's the other way. Go the other side for your dancing.
I get do. I got that one.
Perfect. That's exactly what we needed. Perfect. Right, let me just check on any more questions. I think, Anthea, you've been dealing with Sarah directly, haven't you? Because she's asking loads of bits and pieces about your bits and bobs and about patterns and things like that. I've got Sheila. Would this be okay for a panel between blocks? I'm not sure which one she's asking about, so I mean, I'll ask you both. With yours, Katrina, I think yours would have to be the feature element rather than something that went in between. I'm thinking she's probably asking about the wool strips. Would they be okay for a panel between blocks? Like, I think maybe they mean like sashing or something like
maybe
that.
That's
yeah.
I think that's Anthea.
I think
that's Anthea.
Yeah, I think doing anything new, we would always sample on a small piece first. So just mock up a small section and just try it out. That's what we would do.
Okay, excellent. We're going to finish on time. Well done us. So are either of you guys going to Stitches?
No, I'm teaching tomorrow. We're doing the Escape to the Country bag tomorrow.
Oh, lovely. And if somebody still wanted to join in with that, have they got time to do so?
I think I could probably send a PDF. So if you're buying it, it would be a pattern, which would include postage, but I could always send it as a PDF and refund the postage.
Perfect. Okie dokie. And in that case, I think we shall sign off. And for once, be on time. Has been a little bit of a shorter one today. Just remember, if you do want to grab anything from these lovely ladies, then you head straight to their websites. So Katrina, she is at rowandean.com, and Anthea is at quiltingantics.co.uk. So thank you very much, lovely ladies, and I will see you again really soon.